Here we are in Turkey Town.
Oh, hello there. Which one of you lucky fellas wants to get eaten by me this Thursday? Me!
No, me!
Okay, settle down, everyone.
Well, the days are getting shorter and the weather is getting worse and the holidays are rapidly approaching, so if you feel compelled to lie half comatose on your softest piece of furniture while staring at your favorite device that shows you streaming movies and shows, I have some great news for you. There are new streaming movies and shows for you to stare at. Here are some choice recommendations coming to your various subscription services. On November 3rd, you can watch Netflix dance on the grave of a beloved institution that it helped murder in season 1 of Blockbuster, a comedy series that takes place in the last surviving store of the video rental chain that so many of us have become nostalgic for, even though renting physical videos was kind of a pain in the ass. On the 4th, the game is afoot as Eleven teams up with Superman and Bellatrix Lestrange in Enola Holmes 2, the second movie installment based on the young adult book series about Sherlock Holmes' teenage sister, who, surprise surprise, also solves some mysteries. Also on the 4th, part 1 of season 4 of Manifest comes in for a landing, continuing the story of passengers dealing with the repercussions of a supernaturally delayed flight and probably some misplaced luggage. The Crown returns for season 5 on November 9th, continuing the story of the life and times of Queen Elizabeth II, which will likely strike kind of a weird chord since this season was filmed prior to her recent passing. The original Addams Family movies are two of the best Tim Burton movies that Tim Burton actually had nothing to do with, but if you'd like to see his spin on a goth icon and her whole weird family, you can check out Wednesday when it premieres on November 23rd. Seems like that could have made for a really solid Halloween release, but yeah, sure, Thanksgiving, why not? And yes, Wednesday premieres on a Wednesday. Over on Prime Video, you can check out the coming-of-age drama Autumn Beat on the 10th, which follows two brothers as they chase their dreams of breaking into the rap scene, which might seem kind of played out, but here's the twist. It's in Italy, so it's sort of like 8 Mile, but with the metric system, so 12.8 kilometers. And something tells me that their mom cooks better spaghetti than Eminem's mom, so hopefully it doesn't wind up on anyone's sweater. On the 11th, there's The English, a Western BBC miniseries that sees an aristocratic Englishwoman and an ex-cavalry Pawnee scout journey through America in 1890. This is written and directed by Hugo Blick, who's received a ton of critical acclaim for his work behind the camera, but some fun trivia is that he also played a young Jack Napier, the guy who would become the Joker, in Tim Burton's original Batman. That information has little to no bearing on this new show he made. On the 23rd, there's Goodnight Oppie, which is a documentary/biopic about the Opportunity Mars rover whose 90-day mission wound up lasting 15 years. So if you haven't cried over a space robot movie since WALL-E, give this a shot and just let it all out. On November 3rd, the latest Avengers Assembled tackles She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, giving a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the show, hopefully revealing some of the movie magic required to mocap somebody twerking and to create Porcupine and Frogman's incredibly complex costumes. I kid, but I'm also extremely happy that we got some weird D-list Silver Age animal men in the MCU. More of them, please. Tim Allen might not have played Buzz Lightyear this summer, but he's reprising the role of Scott Calvin in The Santa Clauses, an all-new original series set in the universe of the classic holiday body horror film. Come on, it's a body horror film. It's basically Stephen King's Thinner, but in reverse, and with Christmas. Anyway, the first 2 episodes drop on the 16th. Ho ho ho. Not content with simply resurrecting stuff from the 80s and 90s, Disney Plus is also giving us Disenchanted, a sequel to 2007's hit fantasy musical Enchanted. 15 years have passed in-universe, and Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey have relocated to the suburbs where more musical misadventures are going to take place. On the 23rd, you can catch the season finale of Star Wars Andor. It's remarkable how much tension this show has managed to have, despite the fact that we all know that Cassian is going to live to die in another Star Wars story. But that said, this series is only doing 2 seasons, so I'm really curious to see where the first one leaves off. On the 30th, prepare to return to Lucasfilm's 3rd most popular cinematic universe with Willow. Actually, I guess it's the 4th since American Graffiti actually got a sequel. In any case, Warwick Davis returns as the eponymous Nelwyn hero from the now beloved 1988 fantasy film, with director Ron Howard returning to executive produce. If you like salacious true crime documentaries or were a fan of the HBO series The Righteous Gemstones, you might be in for a treat with, God forbid, the sex scandal that brought down a dynasty. It's a feature-length examination of Jerry Falwell Jr.'s sex scandal, and I checked his Wikipedia and it looks like he actually had multiple scandals, so I guess tune in to find out which one. If you've been dying to know the history of Chippendales, the all-male sexy dance troupe, well, they made a show about it. And before you scoff at it, it stars Kumail Nanjiani and Murray Bartlett of Silicon Valley and White Lotus fame, respectively, and it's from Robert Siegel, creator of Pam and Tommy, who also wrote The Wrestler and The Founder, so this has some potential. Though he also wrote the CGI snail film, Turbo, so, On the third, season 4 of Titans kicks off. This time around, Nightwing and Raven and company find themselves in Metropolis dealing with a supernatural cult, but the biggest threat our heroes are facing if they want to live to see season 5 is the wrath of the merciless Zaslav. You know, David Zaslav, the newly appointed head of Warner Brothers Discovery, who's been axing HBO Max shows left and right, so good luck out there, Titans. On the 24th, Love Lizzo premieres, an original documentary that tells the inspirational story of how Lizzo rose to stardom as a singer and also became arguably the most popular flautist of the 21st century. Seriously, can you name a more famous flute player? Ron Burgundy doesn't count, he's not real. On November 4th, The Mosquito Coast returns for season 2, and if you haven't been keeping track, this is a drama series starring Justin Theroux based on the 1981 novel by his uncle, Paul Theroux, which would be awfully suspect if, Justin Theroux hadn't already been thoroughly famous. The show was co-developed by Tom Bissell, who IGN's audience might know best for his work on games. He was lead writer on multiple Gears of War games and contributed to a couple Uncharted, so maybe give that one a whirl. If you'd like a show about people who make video games, well, great news, because Mythic Quest returns for season 3 on the 11th, and it looks to skewer plenty of timely topics, including, but not limited to, the metaverse, and making Hollywood celebrities don mocap suits so they can be famous in video games too. If you like movies like Zero Dark 30 and The Hurt Locker, you might want to set your sights on Echo 3, which is from the same writer. And don't worry, it's not the third movie in a series, that's just tactical sounding military talk. I have no idea what it means, but it certainly sounds tactical. Transformers Earthspark premieres on November 11th, and it introduces an all-new race of Transformers called Terrans, but don't worry because it's also got Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, who are voiced by Alan Tudyk and Danny Pudi. And get this, Megatron is played by Rory McCann, who you might know as the Hound from Game of Thrones, and also, apparently his first role was in the original Willow movie, but he got fired for getting the giggles too much and ruining all his takes. And if it wasn't readily apparent, writing this show typically involves me falling down a different Wikipedia rabbit hole every other sentence. It takes a while to write these things. On the 13th, some of the folks who gave us The Sopranos have teamed up with the folks who gave us Yellowstone and created a show that sounds like a combination of those two things. It's called Tulsa King, and it has Sylvester Stallone as a New York mobster who gets relocated to Oklahoma, where, as you might expect, the mob isn't exactly running things. And finally, Jordan Peele's Nope hits Peacock on the 18th, and if you go into this one expecting something on the same level as Get Out, you might be let down, but if you think of it as an homage to early Spielberg, it might click more. Plus, it's got an Akira slide. From Akira. And on that note, it's time for me to nope out of any more streaming recommendations. I wish we could cover everything coming to streaming, but that would take us all month to produce, and then we'd be a month late, and then we would have no point in making these videos. Anyway, what was missing from this list? What are you watching in November? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video but wish it was about video games instead of shows and movies, you're in luck. Head over to the IGN Games channel for a roundup of all the big November game releases. There are a whole bunch of them, and we tried to get them all. I'll be back in a month with a big jolly pile of December stuff. Will I wear a bad sweater and a stupid little Santa Claus hat? You will have to tune in to find out.
Yes, it's you.
Really?
Really?
Hey, thank you so much. I don't know what to say.
It's okay. Don't say anything.
Oh, Bob.
Dad, are you crying?
Shh, let them have their moment.
Yes!
Come on, let's go get stuffing. Come on.
You're the one!
Come on!
You are the one!
That turkey is our mom now.